Have you ever considered building your own PC? Well, I have, and I've actually built one before, so I wanted to share with you guys the process of actually building a PC. To build a PC, you just have to understand the three P's: the parts, the process, and the power. In my PC that I built, I had some cheap parts in there. I had an i5 4460 processor, 8 gigabytes of RAM, a 750 Ti graphics card, uh, 1 terabyte hard drive with an Asus motherboard, and then a 500-watt power supply. To actually build a PC, you're gonna need around 7 parts, and the first part being a case. And according to Simple, you're gonna want to invest into a case that is gonna last forever. Typically, it's going to be a metal case, not a plastic one, and then it's going to have a lot of room for later down the line when you want to upgrade parts or add parts. The second part would be a processor, which is the brain of the computer. It just lies into the motherboard. You're going to want a motherboard, which is the mother of the board. After the motherboard, you're going to want a hard drive. You're going to want a graphics card, which is easily the most expensive part of the PC. And you just, all it really does is just provides an image to a screen. You're going to want a RAM, which is randomly accessed memory, and then a power supply that has enough watts to power all your parts. Because according to Burek, if you don't have enough power going to your parts, the parts won't be performing to their maximum potential. You're going to want to have a monitor, a keyboard, and then a mouse. And according to Intel, you don't need them, but if you want to use your PC, that's what you're going to want to have. Because a keyboard, you type on it to operate, a mouse you use to navigate through the computer, and then a monitor which displays what your computer, it displays what your computer does. The process of actually building the computer is actually very easy. The first thing I would do is place the processor properly into the motherboard. And then the RAM, there's some slots on the motherboard and there's tabs on the ends of it. You just want to push those down and then place the RAM properly into those slots. And after that, I would place the whole thing, the whole motherboard with the RAM and the processor, I would place it into the case. After it's in the case and properly secured, I would then put a graphics card. After the graphics card, I would do a hard drive, and then the power supply would be the last thing I do. And because of that, and because the reason I would do it last is because it's the biggest and the cables are just everywhere. And the difficult part of building the PC, I would say, is the power. And the reason why I think that is because you can easily mess it up by plugging something into the wrong spot and it won't even start. So the first thing I would do is plug the main power into the motherboard, and then the CPU, and then the graphics card. After those three things are good to go, I would then take all the cables that came with the case, which include all the stock fans, the power button, the reset button, all the USB plugins, 3.0 USB. I would plug those all into the motherboard in the proper spot, make sure they're properly secured, and after that, the last thing I would do is connect the flat ribbon cable, aka called the SATA cable, from the motherboard to the hard drive. And the very last step you would do is install an operating system like Windows 10, and that would basically complete the whole PC. I just wanted to share with you guys the process of building a PC, which just includes the understanding of the 3Ps, all the parts, the process of actually building the PC, and then all the cables to power your PC. That's all you need to understand to eventually build your own PC.